All right, everybody. So let's just settle into our meditation posture. Can you hear me okay? I have this sound box around my microphone to absorb the sound. Is it okay? Okay.
I'm a sound engineer, and I can tell you it sounds great.
Oh, good. Who's the sound engineer? Jay?
Ian.
Oh, Ian. Thank you. All right. And we got Black Cat with us again. Black Cat just loves coming along. Hey. All right. So if you are sitting at a desk, which most people probably are, with your feet down on the ground, have them about a hip's width apart. So really try and feel the earth through the soles of your feet. Really try and connect with the earth. And then if you are sitting in the regular cross-legged position, you can have your sits bones slightly raised. This helps to align the spine. You don't want to be leaning back into your sacrum. So you want to be sitting right on top of your sits bones. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So you can imagine that somebody has a piece of string above the crown of your head, very gently lengthening you. So you're just getting a little bit taller, a bit longer. Your head is very slightly tipped forward. The eyes are down, looking along the length of your nose. Tip of the tongue is at the roof of the mouth. And just relax your jaw. So if you can just bring your attention to the crown of the head, release any tension in the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth. Just release any tension in the back of the head. Relax the ears, the jaw, back of the tongue. Relax the neck. Allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to drop down. Relax your throat, chest and belly and limbs. The hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And then just bring the mind to the breath. And just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. So it might feel a little cooler on the inhale than the exhale. And then you might notice the sensation as the air flows just in across those very tiny, fine hairs inside, just inside the nostrils. And if there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with your mind. And then notice what is going on in your mind, what's arising in your mind, what thoughts are arising in your mind. And then just take a step back from those thoughts. So try and put some space in between them. And knowing however it is you're showing up tonight, it's perfectly fine. So if you've got angry thoughts or jealous thoughts, or you're noticing something new that you didn't realize was there, just know it's all okay. Don't panic. Also, just don't judge. Don't criticize yourself. You can be like an objective observer, just taking a step back, looking with curiosity at what is arising in the mind. And then we just imagine we're sitting on the bank of a river. And we're watching that river flow on by. And while we're sitting on the bank, we're free from the river. It's just a very sweet analogy from Mingyur Rinpoche. So now bring to mind some people of your life. So perhaps you have some loved ones in mind, people you care deeply about. You have profound relationships with these people. Maybe they're your best buddies. You have a lot of fun with them. Your relationships are easy. You can trust these people. And then you have people in your life who you don't trust so much, and they're difficult for you. And then these people that in your life who are strangers. It's always good to remember that these people in these different groups can actually change place at any time. But they're all the same as us. They're equal to us in their wish to be happy and not ever really quite being able to find it, and their wish to be free from suffering, and in having this amazing capacity for enlightenment. They have this potential. Everybody has the same potential. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So just think, starting by thinking there is no negativity that cannot be purified. There's nothing you've done that's so horrible or so terrible or so awful that we can't do something about it. We love to beat ourselves up. So I think it's a habit, particularly that Westerners have. But anyway, so there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity all the time with our mind, so we can equally change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we're going to experience. So logically, it makes sense to pull out those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So we we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who we see as someone who has the methods that we can use to purify. So we're not particularly wanting Vajrasattva to forgive us. It's not about forgiveness. It's about learning to heal ourselves using his methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head, and you can imagine this is your teacher, if you have one, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long, and they're shaped like lotus petals, and they're very peaceful, full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who've harmed us, by just thinking about wishing for them to be free from suffering. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think maybe of someone who's harmed you. And rather than sort of being happy that they're going to suffer, have some kind of sense of of a sadness that they will suffer. Sort of a wish for them to be free from that suffering. Because of the harm they've done to you, they're going to suffer in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, which is the actual practice of purification. So we do a mantra and we do some visualization. The Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose or waterfall. You can even imagine the shower head. It's quite forcefully from his heart. It arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. So Vajrasattva very happily, again, sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around quite forcefully, enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And it overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine any gossip and harsh speech and useless speech and lying, talking badly about others behind their backs, and complaining and moaning and getting other people to agree with you, being careless with your speech, all of these kinds of things completely purified as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. So you just imagine the moment they hear your voice, it benefits their mind, that you have exactly the right thing to say at the right moment to benefit their mind. So say someone's depressed, or they're anxious about something, or they have a difficult situation. Just imagine having the wisdom to know what to say to help that person, that you'll be of benefit. So next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So it's the same as when the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment, depression, anxiety, grasping, neediness, grudges, bitterness, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled with this light as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit. And then there's no space in your heart now for anything other than loving kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it pours into you, fills you completely, and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. Not one atom of negativity is left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So next we come to the power of resolve, and this is the final step in the purification process. And this is just where we make determination to not harm with our body, speech, and mind. So probably is never going to be never again, but because we have habits and we're human, but at least we start thinking about refraining from actions that are harmful. And without this determination, we're just going to keep repeating things because, again, we have habits. So it becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind and also our neurological pathways in different directions. So those old habits, those old negative habits will start to atrophy. And the neural pathways that they are following, those thoughts, will also atrophy. And you'll find as the new neural pathways are developed, that's exactly where your mind will go. So you just think like this. Maybe there's something you'd like to work on. Your speech, maybe. Or maybe you just sort of engage in negative self-talk. So just catch yourself. And then maybe just think about refraining from doing that for even just 5 seconds. It doesn't have to be a long time. We just keep catching ourselves and redirecting our mind into a more positive direction. And without this determination is what gives us strength to change. So to conclude, Vajrasattva, just imagine delighted with you, wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, just a little bit about emptiness. So we think in emptiness there is no I, creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, doesn't matter how basic, try and place your mind there for a little while. So we'll think that all phenomena are empty. They do not exist from their own side. They're just dependently arising dependent upon causes and conditions. So dependently arising, nothing kind of exists on its own. You can also think that maybe the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. Just kind of cuts into our concrete view of the world. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification practice to all those people of your life, to yourselves, and to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So now we do some long life prayers, and this is just really for sort of trying to encourage teachers like the Dalai Lama to stay around. Here we are. Sorry, I lost you for a moment. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Yeshe, Ho tub shul chang jin jam gon Galloway, Tenzin kyong pel away, Kunzo dog porze. Chog sum kur way leg mon to drew. Dog sog dulje gondu jab tin shog. And for Lama Ursel Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long, Pageshi Sherab, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Lots of love. Do take care. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Ian. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you come back again. Very welcome. So